All right, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Monday version of Community Development Human Services Committee meeting for Monday, August the 25th. I am Jason Winston, chair of the committee. I'm joined on my right by Councilmember Dozier, vice chair of the committee, and to my left we have council members Westmoreland and Norwood. This does constitute a quorum, so I will make a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
One moment. One moment. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The agenda is adopted.
You, colleagues, you've already had a chance to look at the meeting minutes from our last meeting, so I will make a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dozier. You can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The minutes are approved.
Thank you. Colleagues, we do have a few people here today, but I don't see them yet for the communication, so we can go ahead and do our public comment. We'll go ahead and do our public comment section of the agenda. So first speaker today, you'll have, is Ms. Henry Jordan. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. We'll give you a gentle reminder when the time is ending.
Giving out to the Spirit of God, everyone that's here. Take hold of shield and buckler and stand up for my help. Psalm 35th chapter, 2nd verse. The motive is that David might once again thank God freely. My choice to work with James Griff was a fleshly choice and not a God's choice. I ask Jesus to forgive me. Judge me, O God, and plead my cause against an ungodly nation. Oh, deliver me from the deceitful and unjust man. Psalm 43rd chapter, 1st verse. Let my desire line up with God's desire. Our flesh work against God's deliverance plan for us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. 1 John 1st chapter 9th verse. We are not to deny our sins, but rather to confess them before God. This opens the door for his forgiving and cleansing light to purify our hearts. Jesus give us power to conquer our sin. And shall not God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? Luke 18 chapter 7 verse. However, the issue is not God's faithfulness. It is whether believers will persist in supplication or whether their patience and perseverance will give out by the time Christ finally returns. I regret asking God to give James Griff a chance because God said he was against his word. I had a vision about a property that Christ would give me. And I saw across the street from the property in Riverdale that the property was owned by China. I said, God, how we could be protected from China? I saw tall white angels protecting the property. Because God showed me this, and because he created the income to help protect his people, and you fighting against the income, then you working against you working for your destruction and not your deliverance. God offered you a deliverance plan and you reject it. Then whose fault is it? It's yours. Obey Jesus.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Michael Harvey. You'll have 3 minutes.
Happy Monday morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. A special shout out to the Beltline. I live over on Ormwood, and construction is coming along great. We've had a rough storm last week, and our street did not flood with mud. Y'all have done an incredible job making sure that our street doesn't get absolutely destroyed. And when we have these torrential rains, it's amazing progress, and it's been so much fun watching this thing get built. But I'm here today to talk about short-term rentals again. It seems like we're beating a dead horse, and I'm just a little bit bummed out because I just keep on thinking to myself, what would have happened 4 or 5 years ago if we would have passed an easy to understand, easy to implement, easy to apply short-term rental license, and where would we be today if we would have passed something that looked like Jason Winston's paper about a year ago, where we made everybody get a license. And if we would have had 4 years to make everybody get a license, yank the licenses from the bad apples, from the people that didn't give a crap about being a good neighbor, where would we be today? I just think that if we would have passed that ordinance 4 or 5 years ago, we would have had 4 or 5 years to let the process work out, let people get the licenses, let the idiots who don't care about being a good neighbor, they would have had their licenses yanked, and none of us would be in this room talking about the short-term rental ordinance right now. We've got a lot of work to do on developing a framework and getting a handle on this thing. I just urge us to focus on creating a framework that allows short-term rental operators to legally operate, be good neighbors, and not do something that's going to cause more harm than is absolutely necessary. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I would just urge you guys to keep on continuing to get public feedback, work with AMSTRA, work with the platforms, and make sure we're taking a good, critical, analytical look at creating this framework for regulating short-term rentals, because it's the problem's not going away. It's going to be something that we're going to need to fix. But you guys are amazing. Keep up the good work. Keep your ears open. Keep talking to the community. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. Our next speaker, I can't quite make out your last name, but Laura, I think it's first name.
Okay, I'd like to talk about HOAs. I was the president of an HOA for 8 years, and I would have been very frustrated if the government intervened imposing own regulations when I was on the board. It's essential for an HOA to determine the policies that best suit their community. In cases where a building lacks an HOA, establishing one could be beneficial. If a building is too small to support an HOA or solely owned by one individual, that owner should have the autonomy to decide how to manage their property. They might opt for a mix of long-term and short-term rentals. It's inappropriate for the government to interfere upon the rights of a property owners and the HOA, which HOAs are a robust community association. So let's let the HOAs decide what they want to do in the properties that they are managing of. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next speaker is Rich Monroe. You'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you, Councilmember Winston and the committee. My name is Rich Monroe. I am the president of AMSTRA, and I'm here to talk about the proposed change of the ordinance by Michael Julian Bond, 25-01403. As I spoke to the full council last week, I really feel like this is a huge mistake in making a decision to identify, as Councilmember Bond admitted, one building that is having a problem in the city of Atlanta. He also acknowledged that there's no other major complaints or issues with other buildings. And so I honestly feel that's a huge mistake to make a broad decision to limit multifamily buildings to no more than 10% running as a short-term rental that is trying to address one single issue. Like Michael Harvey and Laura Clemens just talked about, I think the way to approach this is in an overall redo of the ordinance. We have clear examples in the Atlanta metro area of reasonable ordinances that work to weed out the bad apples. There is Hall County as an example, Cobb County, the city of Fairburn. And these are very simple requirements that I think we already have components in the existing short-term rental ordinance for Atlanta that just needs to get adjusted to address the specific issues that are occurring with this one particular building. It's a very simple process. Each short-term rental operator or owner has to apply for a license. They get an inspection before they get approved. That inspection includes making sure that the units are safe and have the required smoke detector devices and exits for approved bedrooms. Once the license is approved, the neighbors are notified of the fact that this is going to be a short-term rental and who the contact person is if there's any issues. There is a 3 strikes, you're out requirement that has worked well in these other jurisdictions to manage the issues that occur with bad hosts that are not operating and acknowledging, making sure that their neighbors have a good quality of life. And after 3 complaints, that license is suspended and that person and that operator is no longer able to exist. So this is something that I think the overall ordinance will do an immediate address to what's going on with that particular instance. AMSTRA is here to work alongside Julian Bond and Michael Julian Bond and figure out a resolution because it is totally unacceptable for what's occurring in that building. And AMSTRA is willing and able to provide their help with anything that's needed there for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our next speaker is Kathy McClure.
Good morning. You've met me before, Kathy McClure. I'm the Vice President of the Atlanta Metro Short-Term Rental Alliance. My comment concerns Councilmember Bond's proposed ordinance. This ordinance would be an amendment to the current 2021 short-term rental ordinance. As I'm sure you have some sense of this, AMSTRA raised legal concerns regarding this ordinance on a number of grounds, including the constitutionality of the residence requirement and the city's failure to acknowledge our grandfather rights. As a result, enforcement was delayed repeatedly, and then in January of 2023, the Planning Commissioner announced publicly to Council that the ordinance was declared legally indefensible. Then we have just last week, Theo Pace, the mayor's deputy chief operating officer, has admitted that per the law department's advice, the short-term rental ordinance was, quote, unenforceable. So it is bewildering why Councilmember Bond is proffering this ordinance as an amendment to the legally defunct Atlanta short-term rental ordinance. Councilmember Bond has made it clear that he is pursuing this amendment because he believes it will provide relief for some residents in the landmark condominium. This begs these questions. If passed into law, will the city enforce this ordinance, this proposed amendment, when it has already admitted that the city has already admitted that the short-term rental ordinance is legally indefensible, unenforceable, and unconstitutional? We hope not. We hope the city will not enforce this ordinance if passed. Another question is this ordinance really a solution for the unique problems at the landmark condominium? We think not. We urge council to reject this effort and move forward with a comprehensive rewrite of the Atlanta short-term rental ordinance that makes sense and is cohesive and legally enforceable. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And our last speaker for today is Nikki Buggs. 3 minutes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, in lieu of what's transpired at the Landmark, and we understand that STRs are not going to go anywhere, that it's a profit-making business, and at a particular point in time, the residents don't matter because it's about making the money. We understand that. But we are important. We pay taxes just like everyone else. We're constituents and we're homeowners. So in lieu of what's transpired, the City Council can strengthen enforcement in the Landmarks, and that is short-term rental ordinance, direct the city's Office of Building and Code of Compliance to investigate Airbnb operations and misdeeds, push the law department to investigate possible misuse of nonprofit host status and fraudulent billing practices. These are things that you can do. Will you do it? That'll be a different story. We'll see. The HOA president who is running a personal business in the lobby can be classified, that is not legal if I'm not mistaken. The city council can also propose local ordinance limiting corporate ownerships and bulk Airbnb conversions in residential condos. Advocate a state-level HOA reform to address unchecked powers of conflicts of interest, elder and tenant protections via Office of the Constituent's Office, Senior Services Division, investigate financial exploitations and harassment, push for tenant and owner protections. Because we get it, it's about the money. We get it. Again, not taking that away from anybody. But this is a 200-unit building. And we've been asking for help for a lengthy amount of time, years. And here we still are, discussing the same thing and kicking the can down the road. Something has to change. Something has to change, because ultimately you're telling me as a homeowner, I'm less important than the people you're trying to bring in and house that will be here temporarily. That's ultimately what you're saying. And if that's not the case, please advise, but that's the way it is coming across. STRs are not going anywhere. The HOA should not be permitted to have full control, as stated. They shouldn't have. That should not be the case, because they're just as powerful as the government at this point. And that's unfortunate as well. A limited one single issue. The Landmark is saying that the Landmark is a single issue. That's not true either. It's just that we've been in front of you often enough. So it appears that we're just a single item. This has been a hard fight. As I said, my parent died. And I'm coming up here every week, and I know you're bored, and I know you're sick of hearing it. We're sick of saying it. But I'm fighting, trying to bury my parent and coming up here and fighting at the same time and catching a flight in and out. The Landmark is a poster child of what could possibly happen to other jurisdictions. So that should have been jumped on immediately. It should have been handled immediately, and it was not. The STR, Airbnb, city, the government, they're profiting on our suffering, Thank you.
All right, thank you. And thank you to everyone who signed up for public comment today. We do have one presentation today with colleagues. We have a couple of people here for communications. If there's no objection, I would like to take those communications first.
We will take item number 54, 25C0094, a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens appointing Ms. Teresa Austin Gibbons to serve as Commissioner of the Department of Labor and Employment Services for the City of Atlanta.
All right, before we hear from Ms. Austin Gibbons, we will hear from Chief of Staff, the Mayor, Courtney English.
Everybody, thanks so much, Chairman, members of the committee, members of the public. It's certainly a pleasure to be with you, as always, but it's really a pleasure to be with you to introduce Ms. Teresa Austin Gibbons, who is an outstanding leader in our ADOS department, who has been doing really critical work to ensure that folks have access to high-paying jobs. Folks ultimately live choice-filled lives. She's done tremendous work in our summer youth employment program that has, of course, employed thousands of young people between the ages of 14 and 24 and paid them all a living wage. And so those results don't just have results in the workforce space, but they have results when it relates to crime. They have results when it relates to affordability. They have results when it relates to transit and economic development overall. And so she's been a critical member of this administration for some time, and we're excited to bring her forth for this nomination to approve her permanently in this role. So with no further ado, if I may introduce you to Teresa Austin Gibbons. She's happy to take any questions as long as they're not too hard. Thank you all so much.
welcome up, and obviously you've been doing the job here for a little bit now in the interim role, but just tell us a bit about yourself and why you want to continue in this role permanently.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. English, for that eloquent. I had to look and check and see if he was really talking about me for that introduction, and thank you, Chairman Winston and council members for this opportunity. Theresa Austin Gibbons, I have been in the workforce economic development HR space for close to 30 years, and my joke to my team is always, I've been doing it for 30 years, but I'm still young. I started when I was 12. So I'm excited to be in the city of Atlanta to assist Atlantans with workforce and economic development, and especially access to, as one of the mayor's 4 pillars, opportunity for all. And that's ensuring that each Atlantan that is ready and able and job ready have the skills to work, that they can work with our organization so we can move Atlanta forward, and at least helping those individuals with their household to ensure that there is some stability. And we utilize wraparound services, not only as Chief of Staff spoke about with the youth, but as well as the adults. And sometimes we know now there are dislocated workers. So we work from individuals from ages 14 to infinity to ensure that they are meeting what they need for their family and sustaining.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments from colleagues? Councilmember Westmoreland.
Yeah, quick question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning.
Good morning.
Other than a unanimous confirmation, which you're about to receive, what can we do to help you be successful in the next 6 to 12 to 18 months?
So the things that I think that you could assist on helping us with is just working with the community. We're working with partners that we typically work with. You may have some individuals, and this shows my 12-year-old age, you may have some people in your Rolodex that we could reach out to that can assist with job placement, that have positions that we may not be aware of, because Atlanta and the region is a vast area. So you may have individuals that are outside of the Atlanta area where individuals could travel for work. So that would assist us in looking for businesses that can assist with placement.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. So we have a motion to approve by Councilmember Dozier. I will second. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. Will everyone please vote? The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Congratulations, and we look forward to continue working with you.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Next, we're going to take item number 53, 25C0092, a communication from council members Jason Winston, District 1, Amir Faroki, District 2, Byron D. Amos, District 3, Jason Dozier, District 4, and Michael Julian Bond, Post 1 at Large, appointing Ms. Evie Hightower to serve as a member of the Beltline Affordable Housing Advisory Board. This appointment is for a term of 2 years.
All right. Hightower, if you don't mind coming up to the podium, telling us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in this role.
Great. Well, good morning, almost soon to be afternoon, council members. A huge thank you for having me here today. My name is Evie Hightower, and not only am I a proud resident of Atlanta, District 4, but I am also a commercial real estate lawyer by training, and I have a vested interest in ensuring that there is sustainable growth in the city of Atlanta. While my career has taken me out of state for several years, returning home has certainly renewed my interest in supporting the city's continued intentional and strategic growth and development. I fully appreciate how transformative the Beltline has been for the city and continues to be for the city. And I believe that my professional skills, such as negotiating complex transactions, balancing the interests of an array of stakeholders, in addition to my experience in the community on nonprofit boards, would serve the Beltline Affordable Housing Advisory Board well, as its work complements this transformation. I'm particularly drawn to the core purposes of the board, advancing and supporting affordable housing around the Beltline. I want to help ensure that this transformation remains sustainable for many of the residents in the area. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve, and I look forward to applying my expertise and drawing from my experiences for the benefit of our city's long-term future. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments from colleagues? Or motion to approve by Vice Chair Dozier, second by Westmoreland. Can you please open the vote?
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
That will take us to item number 55, 25R 3781, a resolution by Community Development Human Services Committee appointing Mr. Adam Parker to the Board of Directors of the Atlanta Development Authority, doing business as Invest Atlanta, as the City Council appointee in the real estate sector for a term of 4 years, said term to begin upon approval of this resolution and for other purposes.
Mr. Parker, come on up. Tell us a little bit about yourself, even though some of us are very familiar with you and your background,
Yes,
and why
sir.
you're interested in this position.
Thank you, Chair Winston, council members Dozier, Norwood, and Westmoreland. My name is Adam Parker, and I'm a resident of District 5. I have worked at Carter, the real estate development and investment firm, for coming on 10 years now, where the bulk of my time I've been working on our mixed-use projects across the country, but also with a focus here in Atlanta. I've spent a lot of time working on the redevelopment of the former Turner Field in the Summerhill neighborhood, as well as leading Carter's efforts on the At Promise Youth Center initiatives. We're now on our 4th youth center that we are managing pro bono, and we'll be delivering the 4th At Promise Center on MLK Drive later this year. Outside of work, like I said, I live on the east side of town. I'm a resident of District 5, and I've been getting involved in the city of Atlanta in my time here. That's through nonprofit board service, on boards such as the Atlanta Fire Rescue Foundation, but also through programs such as Lead Atlanta or the Regional Leadership Institute put on by the Atlanta Regional Commission. When the opportunity to join the board of directors for Invest Atlanta was presented to me, I was a quick yes. This is something that marries my professional experience with personal passions, and that's all the large-scale projects that I've done both out of state, but also in state, and then also working to make Atlanta a better place. So I very much look forward to this opportunity, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions, comments from colleagues? Second. We got a motion to approve. We've got a second. I'll just add that it's been a pleasure working with, I've had an opportunity to work with Adam over the last 4 years. Him and his team have just been tremendous in what they've done community-wise in the Summerhill community. You all have done a great job, and looking forward to continue working with you and alongside you on the Invest Atlanta board. So,
Thank you.
motion to approve. Got a second. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
That would take us to item number 1, 25C0102, a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens reappointing Ms. Amber A. Robinson to serve as a member of the Municipal Market Company Board of Directors. This appointment is for a term of 2 years.
We'll welcome you on this side over here.
Hi, Amber A. Robinson. I am very happy to be before you for this reappointment. I do want to first thank our Mayor, Andre Dickens, for his confidence in me and reappointing me to this position. I would like to thank yourself and all of the members of the Atlanta City Council for always being so supportive, as well as to thank City Attorney Patrice Perkins Hooker, who has been supportive of my service on this board. I've served on this board for approximately 4 years now, and it has been completely rewarding to be able to broaden my public service beyond my position as an employee with the city to actually make a difference concerning such an important cultural and historical institution to the city. I was pleased to be able to serve on this board during the Municipal Market's 100th anniversary last fall. And I believe that we are making a lot of strides to right the ship over there and to move it forward into a place where it can consistently provide the food and services to the citizens of the city of Atlanta and its visitors, especially in the downtown and Old Fourth Ward neighborhoods and Sweet Auburn neighborhoods. So thank you so much, and I look forward to continue to serve.
Thank you. We've got a motion to approve by Westmoreland, a second by Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you. Now you can get back over here and get to keeping us straight.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
That can take us to presentations now.
All right, colleagues, so we have one of our quarterly presentations is actually a handout update. This was from the Department of Grants and Community Development, so you all have that. And then now we will hear from the Parks and Recreation Commissioner, Justin Cutler.
Good afternoon, Chair Winston and members of CDHS. My name is Justin Cutler, Commissioner of Parks and Recreation for the City of Atlanta. Excited to be here today. I was talking with my team about, what we could do to make our presentation shorter, but at the end of the day, there's so much amazing things happen in the Department of Parks and Rec. I will be trying to be brief and concise, but I just want to celebrate the men and women and all the great work that they do at the Department of Parks and Recreation to make Atlanta the best place to raise a child. So the City of Atlanta Department of Parks and Recreation, our mission is to provide equitable access to outstanding recreational, natural, cultural experiences that enhance the happiness, health, and well-being of all Atlantans. To do this, we invest in our parks and recreation systems. We grow and connect our parks and recreation systems through additional resources, as well as creating more parks and trails. We recently adopted the Trails ATL plan. And so much more, just to make sure that everyone has access and is in with a 10-minute walk of a park. Currently, we're at about 82%, so we still have about 18% to go. Some highlights related to community engagement. We're constantly thinking about ways that we can build those relationships to learn more about what's going on in our community. We've hosted over 25 citywide events, reaching over 963,000 individuals through our social media platforms, and we reached over 193,000 in just the past 90 days alone during the summer period. That includes the Fresh Cut event, which we hosted hosted by Streets 94.5, also the Vietnam Memorial groundbreaking at Piedmont Park, and then in June we launched our senior event On the Lawn at Adams Park, as well as the Atlanta Hawks Good Neighbor Club at Pittman Park Recreation Center. We celebrated summer with Mayor Andre Dickens at the Rosa Burney Park Pool in the Dunbar neighborhood, and then in Mechanicsville neighborhood, and then we also hosted the world's largest swim lesson in Thomasville, at Thomasville Pool in the Thomasville neighborhood. Then in July, we proclaimed July Parks and Recreation Month, celebrated Camp Best Friends. We had over 300 campers and their family members attend the FIFA World Cup at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So we really worked hard to get out into the neighborhood. Also, our fall catalog is now live, available on our website. You can use that QR code if you're interested in learning more about our programs. In addition to that, we also launched our Movies in the Park, which you'll see a slide soon, in every council district, as well as our Popsicles in the Park event. This, again, is in every council district, building those relationships informally as well as formally to just talk about parks and recreation. We now have over 11 Instagram followers, which help us get our message out. As I talked about, we have over 963,000 views on our social media platforms. In addition to this, we also have our Learning Spaces program. You saw the flyer on the last slide. This is a partnership with the United Way. This is our early learning program. This is free play-based learning for ages birth to 5 years old at William Walker Recreation Center. It has weekly sessions for both the youth and the adults to learn about education, healthy snacks and activities for kids, and encourages school readiness. We're looking to expand this program across 25 and 26, working with the United Way. And it also creates a safe and supportive environment for caregivers as well. Here's our 2 flyers for Movies in the Park, as well as Popsicles in the Park. Unfortunately, we've had the Atlanta Weather Department has not been as favorable with our Movies in the Park program. And so we've had significant rescheduling challenges. As you have likely seen, Fridays and Saturdays most recently have been pretty wet. So we've had to curtail some of those activities, and we'll work to reschedule those as well. Here's just some pictures from all the great things happening. Popsicles in the Park at Harper Park and Coach Rambo Park, as well as the C.T. Martin Touch a Truck event supported by the Department of Public Works. Thank you to the Department of Public Works for hosting that at C.T. Martin. Then we have the Vietnam Memorial groundbreaking at Piedmont Park. Thank you to Councilmember Bond and the Sons of Atlanta for hosting that event. We have the lab at Dunbar. We have the ribbon cutting at Dunbar Recreation Center, where we are able to open a new creator space focusing on music, news, entertainment for our young men and women in the Mechanicsville neighborhood. Then we opened a rain garden at Chastain Park. This is a new rain garden meant to filter water before it gets into what's formerly known as Hamburger Pond there at Chastain Park, where people enjoy fishing. So this will create better water quality for the amphibians. And then we have the Springdale Park Playground ribbon cutting in Old Stem Linear Park. And that was back in July. So a lot of great things happening and new things coming to parks and playgrounds. In addition to that, we also opened our splash pads, and those will remain open through the last week of September, or through September. Yeah, through the last week of September. Our outdoor pools will close on September 1st. This summer, we had over 36,000 individuals come out to our 12 outdoor pools. This is now the third summer that we've operated the pools internally, and we've seen tremendous benefit. Our water quality is improved. We close each of those outdoor pools twice a week, or 2 days a week. That allows us to have all the pools open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but it also allows us to ensure a reduction in maintenance shutdowns when we have them open 7 days a week. It also helps us to manage our budget as well as safety and security. We have metal detectors and security officers at all of our outdoor pools, and at 7 of our outdoor pools, we also offer summer lunch. In addition to that, our summer playground and our Playmobil visited 31 sites and had over 467 and 36 adults participate in that. Also, our swim lessons, in 2024, we had 115 lessons, and this summer we had over 169 lessons, thus increasing the participation, as well as our developmental swim league, formerly known as the Dolphins. We had increased that by over 15%. So our goal is to make sure that every child has the ability to learn how to swim. And in addition to that, we also want to make sure every child has an opportunity to go camping. And so we have an outdoor camp up at Lake Allatoona, where we participate in archery, kayaking, boating, and fishing. Many people don't know about this camp, and so we're working hard to make people aware. It's been kind of closed for the last 5 years due to COVID and just some staffing challenges, so now we have a full-time coordinator up at the camp. We're able to offer retreats, and cabins are available to rent. So if you or anybody you know is looking for a great spot, it's on beautiful Lake Allatoona in a really secluded cove, so it's fairly quiet. It has a beautiful beach, campfire area, as you can see from these pictures. And we recently did some updates to the cabins just so they're more friendly and welcoming to our kids and campers. Also, we added an additional half mile of trails, and we're working on a day at the lake where we bus seniors from Atlanta up to the lake so they get to experience that as well. One of the things that we do really well is feed kids throughout the summer. And this summer, we won the Turn Up the Beat Award recipient, which is an award that recognizes outstanding summer meal program sponsors across the nation who work hard to offer high-quality meals that are appetizing, appealing, and nutritious to children during the summer months. So congratulations to the summer meal team. We had over 47 summer meal sites, 21 recreation centers, 13 mobile sites. That include our outdoor pools, a park, as well as the 4 Fulton County libraries in the city of Atlanta, and 1 local community neighborhood, as well as other 13 local summer camps that participate in our program. So if you have a church camp or a VBS or another daycare type of camp program, you can call us and we can help get you that food. In addition to that, we also launched a Plates in the Park program to help build nutrition awareness, as well as just an understanding of what a good meal is. We had over 390 children participate in that program. And we served over 53,000 breakfast meals and over 64,000 lunch meals as part of our summer meal program. So when you think of Parks and Rec, make sure you also think about food security and making sure Atlanta is the best place to raise a child. In addition to that, I have 4 matrices here that just talk about all the great programs at the Department of Parks and Rec. We now added girls flag football. We've added girls volleyball. This last year we added girls softball. We're really trying to bring more youth girls activities to the city of Atlanta, whereas before we had cheer and majorettes, and we had a small volleyball program. So we're working with partners. Like this Thursday, we have an event at CT Martin with the Atlanta Dream, where they'll be coming out and as part of their outreach program, they'll be teaching a basketball clinic as well as serving meals to our kids there. But these are all of the out-of-school time athletics opportunities across our different sites. Here's some additional programming that we have. All of our sites have tutoring for out-of-school time as a way to just build academic performance amongst our students. In addition to that, we have our teen activities. The sites that don't have anything obviously don't have a teen program, but we're working to build additional teen sites. But these are all the great programs. We have our Teen Academy, we have STEM programming, we have the lab at Dunbar, we have teen yoga, we have teen content creating. We now have a new content creation lab, which I'll speak to later as part of our Teen Leader Academy at Zaban Recreation Center. This is a space where young teens can come and hone their social media skills, as well as have little vignettes to build their brands and build their awareness. In addition to our teens, we also serve the young at heart. Our most popular programs for our seniors are line dancing, yoga and Pilates, chair aerobics, as well as computer classes. And we continue to add more staff-led programs, both in our youth and our senior programs, as a way to upskill our employees. One of the things that we find is that when you train your staff and you offer that support, they become better employees, and we're able to offer better programs. So we're working with Cigna to offer some evidence-based walking programs, as well as working with our team to identify additional training just to support our recreation staff in becoming the best they can be. As I spoke earlier, our Atlanta Teen Leader Academy continues to do a phenomenal job. This program provides over 16,000 hours of volunteer hours, helping many of our APS students get their volunteer hours that they need to graduate. We employed over 180 teens this summer as part of our Atlanta Teen Leader Academy, and we hosted our 8th annual Atlanta Teen Leaders Summer League, which served over 120 seniors in our basketball program. As I mentioned, we're opening a new content studio at Zaban Recreation Center. And last year, we increased our after-school programming by 12%. So we are now serving close to 700 teens as part of our program. And we anticipate this year we'll be over that number because we already have 345 teens enrolled based after 5 days of registration. So the team continues to do a good job of building those relationships, going out to schools, going out to places where teens hang, bringing those students in, talking about what's going on and how we're supporting their success as teens. And the Teen Leader account has over 2 million views on social media, and we gained over 400 followers in the last couple days. So the teens are really working hard to promote the program. They have a great brand. People are aware of what they're doing, and please follow them on social media and tell your friends and neighbors. As I mentioned, our Young at Heart, this summer we had 4 summer Camp Best Friends sites. So summer camp isn't just for our young youth ages 5 to 12, it's also for those young at heart. We offered a full summer program at these 4 sites. We also had specialty camps where we brought together seniors on an ad hoc basis at Roselle Fan, Martin Luther King, Thomasville, English, Adams Park, and William Walker. We had a sock hop trip. We went peach picking in Musella, Georgia. We also went on a lunch trip to Macon and Jonesboro, and then we had a big celebration at John Tanner Park in Carlton, Georgia, where we had over 400 seniors for a lot of fun in the sun, activities and games, food and networking. Our youth and athletic program continue to excel. As you see from the slide, our Camp Best Friends enrollment is up from 2,600 to over 3,000 for our Camp Best Friends. They're on the top. And our special events, we continue to take kids to the zoo, field trips to we had plates in the park. We took them to the Outdoor Activities Center in partnership with Wawa. We had an inflatable smokehouse in partnership with the Atlanta Fire and Rescue Department. We had an art camp at South Bend, a therapeutic camp for children with disabilities at Cohen. We had 5 Atlanta Teen Leader Academy sites, as well as Lake Allatoona. So we continue to do a phenomenal job of meeting the needs of our young people. In addition to that, our fall sports program, we have over 783 students registered for athletics. And we have over 184 young ladies signed up for cheer. We have 6 teams for girls volleyball. Top flag football, we had over 42 registrants and over 33 participated in Tot Olympics. In addition to our youth athletic program, we also have our 5 golf courses. We have the most recorded rounds in revenue this year and so far in 2025. So the team continues to do a phenomenal job both maintaining and providing programming. We've launched new golf engagement events to talk about how our golf courses are more than just golf. It's a place where you can build relationships, build community, and volunteer. That's been going well. You may have seen Birdie Rex out and about. He's a large inflatable dinosaur. I think Councilmember Winston, did you hit it in the birdie's mouth? In and out, okay. Well, thank you for coming out to Browns Mill and participating in that. And then Birdie Rex goes around and we try to get him to our summer camps as well. Also, our racket sports continues to do well. We have a new free cardio fitness program, a partnership with the Beltline, who I know is here in the audience today. The Beltline Partnership provides a free fitness program to help encourage participation. That's at Washington Park Tennis Center. We also had over 1,000 young people attend Washington Park and McGee through a scholarship program provided by Agape Tennis Foundation. We had summer camps. Also, professional tennis was provided at McGee Racket Center. So far, we have had one event. We'll host eight more events. The total purse of these events is $25,000. So if you are excited and love playing tennis, I would encourage you to come out. You could win some major cash. But that's just a great way to highlight our facilities as being top quality and top notch. So we do that to bring a high level of tennis to our community, given that Atlanta is one of the most, is the largest region when it comes to the USTA Tennis Association. So we want to make sure we're providing a variety of activities. Also, we're working with 3 schools. The Agape Tennis Foundation is partnering with 3 schools this year to provide excellent coaching, tennis drills to underserved youth who would not have access otherwise to these programs. In addition to that, our Moving Atlanta Forward project, we continue to deliver on over $150 million worth of bond projects. As you can see from this chart, we have 25 that we've completed, over 19 that are under construction, 2 in procurement, 3 in engineering and design, 15 in planning and scoping, and 7 that haven't started yet. These are a list of the new camera locations, as well as some pictures of the new Ardmore Park, Beaverbrook Park, as well as Benteen Park, which has a new parking lot. We're working with the Trust for Public Land to update the playground there, and it'll be a schoolyard in partnership with APS. In addition to that, we've recently conducted an audit of all of our parking lots based on some of the conditions, and so we'll be using park millage money to address parking lots, making sure that they're surfaced and they're of high quality. I know at a couple of, like in Mechanicsville, Dunbar has a couple potholes, so we're working on getting those addressed, and we're just grading all of the parking lots and putting them in priority order. So hopefully you'll see improved parking lots at our parks as well. Here's some additional pictures. Reverend James Pool. All of our outdoor pools were resurfaced and replastered ahead of the 2025 summer. That meant a higher quality, lower injuries in our pools. Sometimes when you have bad pool plaster, you can get scrapes and cuts. But our pools were beautifully plastered. They look great. So kudos to the pool team for making that happen. Also, you see here the C.T. Martin pool pack was replaced. The Southtown Trail Bridge was improved. And another photo of Beaverbrook Park. Park operations. Recently, as I talked about earlier, we want to make sure that we're continuing to improve and train our staff. We had 17 members of our park operations team complete the UGA Certified Landscape Professional course. This is a way that we can elevate our team and help them understand that as a Parks and Recreation professional, you're also a landscape professional. And this is just a great way to encourage participation in continuous improvement and in education. So we had 17 members of the parks team complete that, which is a big deal. We also spotlighted Mr. Gary Davis. You'll see on the next slide as part of our Parks and Recreation Month. We did a requisition refresher and Q&A session to help expedite purchasing and procurement in our park operations. We also sent 20 staff to the Southeast Green Conference and Trade Show, again, exposing our staff to new ideas and new equipment to make sure that we have the latest and greatest and are able to complete the job in a timely fashion. And then our gated park events. We completed 3 events in May. We have 2 events in June, and we have several events coming up in September, October. One being Shaky Knees and the other being One Music Fest. So please, if you haven't already, make sure you buy your tickets and come out to the gated park events. Also, we've done some park beautification. These are ad hoc programs. The park operations team has initiated kind of this 1% idea where every week we want to improve by 1%. So every week the staff are going out, identifying a project as simple as a park bench, taking the initiative, sanding it down, repainting it, or addressing a ball field erosion, or addressing standing water at Adams Park, or replacing swings. So we want to be proactive in our maintenance. We don't want to just wait until we get a 311 call. So this team's really working hard to be proactive. Last but not least, we have our natural resource team that does a phenomenal job. This is a new team. We recently hired a director of natural resources last February. Her and the team have been hitting the ground running. We're launching our urban forest master plan, which will be completed by the fall of 2029. This includes mapping all of the 3,000 miles of street trees, as well as mapping all of our trails, as well as developing our urban forestry contracts in partnership with Trees Atlanta. We're also kicking off a new community garden program. In the past, community gardens have been an area that we've struggled, and you can see the before and after photos here. So we have a new staff member. We kind of repositioned this former staff member to this new role where they're monitoring our community gardens to make sure that they're more productive and more engaging and also look better. Because oftentimes this is one of the biggest sore spots where we get several 311 complaints about garden beds being overgrown or food not going to waste. And so we want to be more proactive in that. As you'll hear later today, we also have a new carbon credit program that we're launching in partnership with the Mayor's Office of Sustainability and Resilience. So John R. will be here to talk about that. We have Dr. Galen Williams here on behalf of the Department of Parks and Recreation. But safety is at the center of everything that we do. And so as we think about safety, we've also increased our training around safety, making sure that we have the OSHA 10-hour course has been provided to staff. We partner with ABI to launch their new ambassador and security team. And we're co-officing out of 890 Memorial. We've also are hiring additional park rangers. So if you or anybody you know is interested in becoming a park ranger, please encourage them. And then we recently did an active shooter drill at Roselle Fan Recreation Center as a means of just helping our team understand what that may look and feel like, and also working with APD and AFRD so they would understand how that would happen in a recreation center. And then as required by our millage, park millage, I want to just provide some updates around park millage and how those resources have been spent. To date, we did the entry road repair at Lake Charlotte. We have some bollard removal at Dr. Mary Scheid Scott Park. We restored the ball field at Bessie Branham. Also, there was a fallen memorial column at Grant Park that we redid. The Reds Farm beekeeping installation, we worked with the beekeeper or the farmers there. Also replaced the HVAC at CT Martin, several roofs at Pittman Park and Anderson Park we're working on. And then we're also replacing several elevators in our recreation centers, making sure that they work. We've had some seniors get stuck on those in the past, so we want to make sure those will work, as well as replacing fitness equipment. Here's our hiring numbers. Kudos to the team. Last year, they did a phenomenal job. We began hiring in December, which is, I think, like 3 or 4 months away. So again, you'll start to see posts around hiring. Again, please encourage people to come out and work for the Department of Parks and Recreation. We like to have fun. It's Parks and Recreation. What could be more fun than that, right? And with that, happy to take any questions, and thank you for your time.
All right. Thanks, Commissioner Cutler, for that quarterly update. We'll start taking some questions. Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. I honestly don't have any specific questions. I feel like you and I and many members of your team have been locked on the phone for the last 2 weeks, so no questions about District 4 Park specifically. But I am curious with the programming that the department has been implementing around youth sports and youth activities and senior activities. Has there been any appetite or exploration around more general adult programming? So rec basketball or evening art classes or things like that that utilize our city facilities that give folks like me who aren't quite, AARP age, and I'm a long way past being young and vigorous like I was in high school, but giving folks like us a way to connect with our city in a more intimate way.
Yeah, no, thank you for that feedback and that comment. That is something that we're interested in pursuing and are looking at. We do have a basketball league at Grove Park for architects and engineers, and then we have one at William Walker for older adults, but for adults. Myself, I'd be included in that age bracket if I called myself older. But yes, we do have those two sports, and we are looking at additional sports, especially with volleyball and other open gym activities. We want to encourage participation, so oftentimes that comes through open gym, and I've asked the team to put together a matrix of all the open gym times so people like yourself can get a group of friends together, go down and play a sport that you may enjoy in that space. So yeah, that's available too. But as far as classes, I think we will need to work with the community and survey each recreation center what people may want to see in those spaces. I know you've mentioned music as being something that you're interested in, and would love to work with you and the other council members to understand what they'd like to see in the other centers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Then the other question that I had was, I don't know, and this might be before both of our times, but I know some of our city parks have kiosks that I'm assuming used to have some sort of vending opportunity at those locations. As an example, Adair Park 2 has what looks to be a kiosk similar to what we have downtown that I know is also underutilized, but I don't know if that's something that the department has looked at as either a potential revenue stream, especially with some of these more active days that you have a lot of families in the park spaces. But having visited some parks in other parts of the country, it's really cool to see that you can, buy a cup of coffee or get the kids a popsicle on park property or city property, and it's just part of how they run their operations on those, especially those busy days. And was wondering if that's something we could potentially replicate here in the city of Atlanta. Like I said, I know we have appears to be kiosk type structures in some of our park facilities. So I don't know if that's something we've done in the past, and due to budget constraints, we just stopped doing it. But curious if y'all have explored anything like that going forward.
Yeah, that's something that we're actively working on. And later today at, I think, 2 o'clock, Commissioner Prince left. Commissioner Prince and I host a monthly meeting between Department of Community Planning and Parks and Recreation to talk about that very thing. Department of Community Planning has a vending permit program already. They've designated a couple parks where that is available. And so we were working with them to do the advertisement, to do the awareness around those parks. We've tried to add additional parks. We've worked with the Department of Law and Miss Amber Robinson to identify what that would look like, how we'd go about implementing that. We've also looked at what would it look like if it was a Department of Parks and Recreation program. We don't have anything definitive at this point, but we are working with DCP to identify additional parks where we can implement that next year.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Chair, you. Thank you.
Thank you. I just want to just always try to send a shout out to the Southeast Maintenance Team. They do an incredible job. I know all of their maintenance folks at Parks and Recreation do great all over the city, but specifically I see them a lot. So I just, see the hard work that they're doing in our parks. Also just wanted to give some feedback. Councilmember Dozier and I, having 2 young daughters, sometimes get to be secret shoppers, so to speak, for some of the programs that you offer. And I have my 2 daughters right now in swim classes at MLK Natatorium, and everything's been going great. One feedback that I would give, and I'm a night owl, so it doesn't bother me too much, but a lot of our programs, you can't register until the evening at midnight. And so, some of the ones that are gaining popularity, you can try to do it at midnight. They may not be open in the morning. And I've gotten that feedback from some other parents for some of our more popular programs in the city, that maybe we need to look at some alternative times that the registration opens versus midnight, so they don't have to stay up late to get their kiddos in some of these classes and some of these programs.
Great point. Thank you.
All right. And then I just want to know if you had an update on some of the new restrooms, the loo, or that are some of the restrooms we're trying to, install in some of our parks throughout the city.
Yes. So recently we opened a new restaurant at Cohen Park. That's a Portland Loo, which is a specialized restaurant, it's
restroom, right?
Restroom. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Cohen Park Restroom. And that restroom is, it's brand new. They call it indestructible. It's made of steel as well as stainless steel. And it has louvers, so you can look in and see if there's any 4-legged monsters or anything's happening there to provide better security and safety. And it's not self-cleaning like some of the other restrooms we have around town, but that's our first Portland Loo. And then we're working to put another one at Grant Park, and then improving the exterior restrooms. We have the task order, I believe, at Grant Park to begin working with the contractor to do both the refresh as well as install the bathroom. And then recently at Grant Park, we resurfaced, the Atlanta Hawks came in and resurfaced the basketball court, so we no longer have those tiles that people were slipping on. So that's been redone too.
Great. All right. We'll see no other comments, questions from my colleagues. We appreciate you coming in for your quarterly update.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thank you. So we've already covered our communications, so this will take us to our consent agenda, ordinances for first reading.
We lost quorum. We can't move forward yet.
So we'll just wait on Councilmember Norwood, who'll be back in just a moment. We promise you we'll get started here in just a second, everyone. Maybe Mr. Parliamentarian can answer this question, but are we able to do our items for the first reads? Okay. And we're back on.
All right, that would take us to section G, communications. Item number 2, 25C0103, a communication from Mayor Andre Dickens reappointing Ms. LaDonna Barnes, MBA, to serve as a member of the Municipal Market Company Board of Directors. This appointment is for a term of 2 years. This item will need to be held.
I'll make a motion to hold. Is there a second? A second by Dozier. If you could please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is held. That takes us to item number 3, ordinances for first reading. Item number 3, 25O1487, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the Department of Grants and Community Development to amend the 2021 Home Investment Fund budget to accept additional funds for the Home Investment Partnerships Program from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development through the American Rescue Plan by adding to anticipations and appropriations in an amount not to exceed $11,922.00 to provide assistance to vulnerable citizens with housing, shelter, and case management services and for other purposes. Item number 4, 25O1488, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to create a public tree recompense project account number within the Oracle financial system for the purpose of receiving funds in accordance with the City of Atlanta's Tree Protection Ordinance recompense payment requirements and for other purposes. Item number 5, 25O1489, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to adopt the 2026 through 2030 capital improvements element, which includes capital improvements that the city intends to fund in whole or in part with development impact fees in compliance with the requirements of the Georgia Development Impact Fee Act and for other purposes. Item number 6, 25O1490, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the Chief Financial Officer to amend the fiscal year 2026 Department of City Planning General Fund budget and the fiscal year 2026 Capital Finance Fund budget by transferring an amount not to exceed $450,000.00 by anticipating and appropriating funds to and from the accounts listed herein for the purpose of project work related to the Riverlands Corridor Chattahoochee Brick Company design planning efforts and for other purposes. Item number 7, 25O1491, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to adopt the Piedmont Park Master Plan as the City of Atlanta's master plan for Piedmont Park, to incorporate the Piedmont Park Master Plan into the City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan and for other purposes. Item number 8, 25O1492, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to adopt the Chastain Park Master Plan as the City of Atlanta's master plan for Chastain Park, to incorporate the Chastain Park Master Plan into the City of Atlanta's Comprehensive Development Plan, Plan A, and for other purposes. Item number 9, 25O1493, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to accept a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act adult program grant in a total amount not to exceed $759,703.00 from the Technical College System of Georgia Office of Workforce Development to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY26 Training Grant Fund budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations in an amount not to exceed $759,703.00. All work shall be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for other purposes. Item number 10, 25O1494, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to accept a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Youth Grant Program grant in an amount not to exceed $831,233.00 from the Technical College System of Georgia Office of Workforce Development to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY26 fund budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations in an amount not to exceed $831,233.00 $233.00. All work shall be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for the purposes. Item number 11, 250-1495, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to accept a Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Dislocated Workers Program grant in the amount not to exceed $1,543,124.00 from the Technical College System of Georgia Office of Workforce Development to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to amend the FY26 budget by adding to anticipations and appropriations in the amount not to exceed $1,543,124.00. All work shall be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for the purposes. That takes us to our regular agenda, ordinances for second reading, 250-1416. An ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee on behalf of the Department of Grants and Community Development to amend the 2018 Home Investment Fund budget and the 2019 Home Investment Fund budget for the purpose of reprogramming home investment partnerships, program funds in an amount not to exceed $200,000.00 for continued contract services with the Atlanta Neighborhood Development Partnership and residences at Chosewood Park. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for the purposes.
Commissioner London.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for this opportunity. We are simply asking today for permission to move funds from one project to another so that we can timely expend these funds and report them as fully expended to HUD.
Motion to approve. It's been properly seconded. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That takes us to item number 13, 250-1449. An ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the 2025 Home Investment Fund budget and the 2025 Community Development Fund budget on behalf of the Department of Grants and Community Development to reprogram previously allocated funds to Quest Communities and Radiant Development Partners for the use of existing contracts in a total amount not to exceed $1,975,000.00. All contracted work shall be charged to and paid from the accounts listed herein and for the purposes.
Thank you. Welcome back.
And here I thought I was done. Same thing. We're just trying to make sure we spend these funds appropriately and timely.
A motion to approve. I'll second. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. These items are favorable.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If there is no objection from the committee, may we take items 14 through 18 as a block?
Please proceed.
Item number 14, 250-1450, CDP 2517, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use planning section of the 2025 Plan A, City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan, so as to redesignate property located at 1905, 1911, and 1917 Ladon Lane and 1920 Ann Street from the low-density residential development pattern designation to the medium-density residential development pattern designation and for the purposes. Item number 15, 250-1451, CDP 2520, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use planning section of the 2025 Plan A, City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan, so as to redesignate property located at 745 Bolton Road and 749 Bolton Road from the medium lot single-family development pattern designation to the medium-density residential development pattern designation and for the purposes. Item number 16, 250-1452, CDP 2521, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use planning section of the 2025 Plan A, City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan, so as to redesignate property located at 1345 Bolton Road from the medium lot single-family development pattern designation to the low-density residential development pattern designation and for the purposes. Item number 17, 250-1453, CDP 2524, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use planning section of the 2025 Plan A, City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan, so as to redesignate property located at 67 Griffin Street from the medium lot single-family development pattern designation to the low-density residential development pattern designation, and for the purposes. Item number 18, 250-1454, CDP 2526, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use planning section of the 2025 Plan A, City of Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan, so as to redesignate property located at 2410 Jonesboro Road, also known as 825 and 831 McWilliams Road, 2430, 2436, and 2440 Jonesboro Road, 808, 814, 824, and 830 Hargett Street from the medium lot single-family development pattern designation to the low-density mixed-use development pattern designation, and for other purposes. All these items will need to be held for the upcoming CDP.
I'll make a motion to hold. Is there a second? Second by Westmoreland. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. These items are held. That takes us to item number 19, 250-1455, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to authorize the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement with New City LLC to make transportation-related improvements as part of the 760 Ralph McGill development, to authorize payment to New City LLC for the actual construction cost of the improvements by grant of impact fee credits not to exceed $420,813.00, and for the purposes.
Good afternoon now.
Good afternoon, Rashid Hunter, Development Impact Fee Program Manager with the Department of City Planning. This legislation before you proposes granting $420,813 in transportation impact fee credit to New City LLC, the commercial developer for 760 Ralph McGill project. As part of the development, New City agreed to design and construct new transportation system improvements. Specifically, they installed new traffic signal at Ralph McGill Boulevard and North Angier Avenue, and another traffic signal at North Avenue and North Angier Avenue. These improvements have been reviewed and approved by ATL DOT. This legislation will grant New City $420,813 in transportation impact fee credit, which can only be applied towards future transportation impact fees. The credit or any remaining balance will expire if not fully used within 10 years upon approval.
All right. Got a motion to approve by Westmoreland. I'll second. If you could please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you.
That takes us to item number 20, 250-1457, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the city attorney or her designee to negotiate deed restrictions for the Utah Creek Nature Preserve, the Southwest Nature Preserve, the Mount Zion Nature Preserve, and the South River Nature Preserve, in order for the City of Atlanta to expand its participation in the Urban Forest Carbon Credit Program with Urban Forest Carbon Registry, doing business as City Forest Credits, so as to commit said properties to conservation pursuant to the program requirements to support the City of Atlanta's sustainability and green space initiatives, authorizing the mayor or his designee to execute the deed restrictions and for other purposes.
Mr. Seidel. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Winston. John R. Seidel, Deputy Chief Sustainability Officer, Mayor's Office of Sustainability and Resilience. So this is to okay the negotiations between Department of Law and our registry, our carbon credit registry, City Forest Credits, to be able to agree to the deed restrictions as necessary for the carbon credit protocol that we have to meet in order to be eligible to start collecting carbon credits. Ready to take questions.
Any questions, comments from colleagues? You know, we have a motion to approve by Westmoreland. It was properly seconded by Councilmember Dozier. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you.
there's no objection from the
Hold on
committee.
one second. Sorry. Hear from Ms. Robinson, Law Department.
Yes. Hi, Amber A. Robinson, City of Atlanta Department of Law. This matter concerns a waiver of procurement code in order to allow for some real estate transactions as described, and therefore should be properly considered by the Finance Executive Committee. Law would request that this committee consider a vote to refer to FEC.
One moment.
Do we have to make a motion to reconsider or?
One moment.
Okay. Got it.
Can you repeat the mover and the seconder, please?
Yes.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item will be referred to FEC.
So FEC tomorrow. All right. Thank you.
Is that second? FEC is Wednesday.
Or, I'm sorry, Wednesday. Yes.
All right, if there's no objection from the committee, may we take items 21 and 22 as a block? Both of these would be held.
Please proceed.
Item number 21, 250-1473, an ordinance by Councilmember Byron D. Amos to amend Chapter 154, Article 3, Section 154-92, to require that all fire department connections be clearly labeled with the floor or area of the building they are connected to, and for the purposes. We lost quorum. I can't continue.
So I'll make a.
Item number 22, 250-1474, an ordinance by Councilmember Byron D. Amos to prohibit the construction of structures using sound permeable materials within the city of Atlanta and for the purposes.
We have a motion to hold. Do we have a second? Second by Norwood. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. These items are held. That takes us to item number 23, 250-1476, an ordinance by Councilmember Michael Julian Bond to amend ordinance 250-1163, adopted by the Atlanta City Council on July 7, 2025, and approved by the mayor on July 8, 2025, to update the funding allocations and account information and for the purposes.
I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. That takes us to item number 24, 250-1479, an ordinance by council members Dustin Hillis, Matt Westmoreland, Michael Julian Bond, and Ishay Collins, authorizing the acquisition of right-of-way, permanent and/or temporary easements on, over, under, and through certain real property necessary for the construction of an approximately 2.8-mile portion of the Beltline Northwest Trails, segments 2, 3, and 4, for the completion of the Northwest Atlanta Beltline Trail Project, authorizing the Atlanta Beltline to negotiate with affected property owners and execute all documents necessary to acquire such property interests, authorizing the mayor or the city attorney, in the event negotiations are unsuccessful, to institute condemnation proceedings pursuant to the declaration of taking method authorized by OCGA 3231, authorizing the city attorney to engage the services of outside counsel where necessary to handle condemnation proceedings, waiving certain provisions of Article 10 of the Real Estate and Procurement Code of the City of Atlanta Code of Ordinances and for the purposes.
All right, thank you. I know we've done this a few times for the Beltline, and so I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? We have a second by Westmoreland. Could you please open the vote?
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. That takes us to item number 25, 250-1480, An ordinance by council members Marcy Collier Overstreet, Matt Westmoreland, Andrea L. Boone, and Ishay Collins to authorize the Atlanta Development Authority, doing business as Invest Atlanta, to utilize the funds remaining in the Atlanta Recovery Fund established for Invest Atlanta in Ordinance 24-01301 for the public purpose of supporting small businesses along Cascade Road, which have been adversely impacted by the ongoing construction of various water and sewer enhancements and maintenance projects, to extend the deadline by which any funds remaining in the City Recovery Fund must be transferred back to the City of Atlanta Water and Sewer Revenue Fund on December 31st, 2025, to authorize the mayor or his designee to, on behalf of the City of Atlanta, to execute all documents necessary to effectuate the purpose of this ordinance, including but not limited to any amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for economic development services dated October 21st, 2020, or any such successor IGA if needed and for the purposes.
Thank you. Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to amend to add my name.
One moment. One moment. The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item has been amended.
So we have an amended item on the floor, so I will make a motion to approve as amended. Is there a second? Come a second by Dozier. If you please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable as amended. And it will be going to FEC on Wednesday. That takes us to item number 26, 25-01486, an ordinance by Councilmember Jason H. Winston waiving the requirements of Section 2-910 of the Atlanta City Code to retroactively authorize and ratify the City of Atlanta's submission of a grant application for the passenger rail Alternatives Analysis Study Grant from the Atlanta Regional Commission in an amount not to exceed $625,000.00 for the purpose of identifying one or more recommended passenger rail locations that can be served by existing and future intercity passenger rail service in Metro Atlanta, to authorize the city to commit local matching funds in an amount not to exceed $125,000.00 from the accounts listed herein, to authorize the mayor or his designee to execute a memorandum of agreement to effectuate the acceptance of this award and for other purposes.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Mr. Chair. Afternoon, members of CDHS. Will Tucker, Interim Director with the Office of Policy. Really excited to tell you all about this project, which has already gotten underway. We had a great stakeholder kickoff meeting last week at ARC. Good turnout from everyone from Senator Ossoff's office came down. We had Amtrak, some senior leadership from those folks. A huge turnout from MARTA as well as ARC, and then within the city from our office, from ATL DOT, and from city planning. So I think there's great energy and momentum for this study. And ARC had agreed to cover 80% of it, and that we could wait until we began our new fiscal year to kick in our 20% match. So that's why we're here before you today, kind of late in the process after we've already gotten started. But we think that this document can, the real emphasis of it is not another plan that sits on a shelf for 20 years, but something that's really actionable and implementable. So we're excited to keep you all in the loop as that planning process progresses. We're going to be out in your communities talking to constituents and seeing, where the most feasible and most sort of community appropriate locations for a permanent rail station could be. So we'll certainly be talking more with you all about that.
All right. Thanks, Mr. Tucker. Councilmember Dozier.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick question. I know under the previous administration, Amtrak had launched this Connect Us or Connect US program looking at passenger rail expansion across the country. Is this a continuation of that, or is this something completely different?
It's kind of grown out of that. So they had identified basically, of every major market in their network in the United States, and in particular in the Southeast, Atlanta had the greatest need and just didn't have a train station befitting of a world-class city. So that's been a high priority for those folks in their East Coast sort of rail network expansion office. Since then, the corridor ID process started, which is slightly new. It kind of taps into some of that NEPA Tier 1, Tier 2 stuff that historically we've done when planning long-range passenger rail. But so there's a couple additional studies going on in parallel, one looking at the Savannah to Atlanta route, one that NCDOT is leading that looks at high-speed rail connections to Charlotte, and then one that Tennessee DOT is leading, looking at service to Chattanooga, and eventually, hopefully, Nashville and Memphis. So all those processes are kind of happening in parallel. The consultant WSP is also working on a couple of those, which I think really positions them well to make sure that everything is highly coordinated and that we're not just talking about Crescent service as it exists today, the Crescent line that comes through on Amtrak, but really, providing for those future connections to other cities, basically trying to make Atlanta the rail hub of the Southeast.
So then would it be looking at using existing rail lines, or I recognize that with high-speed rail, we would need to install new infrastructure to support that, not just on the platform side, but also with the corridor development. So is it looking at all the potential options and showing, hey, what the potential cost could be, what the potential implications would be? And so then my question is, would the city potentially be required to pay for any of the infrastructure for a passenger rail platform in the city, or is that something that would be GDOT or federally funded? I'm just curious what we could be looking at. Is this like a future T-SPLOS or infrastructure package that we could be potentially supporting for a local match?
Right.
Just kind of seeing what will come out of the study.
Yeah, no, I think we haven't foreclosed on any possibilities at this point, or just trying to kind of cast a wide net. But certainly, TOD and public-private partnership opportunities are a big consideration, as well as making sure that locations have access to TAD funding potentially, making sure that we are tracking down anything going on at USDOT in terms of TIFIA finance, potentially RIF. So WSP has a staff person on this team whose sole responsibility is where we're going to get the money, right? And to that end, we're trying to be opportunistic about where we can, chip away at those total costs. I do know Amtrak pointed out that in order for it to not be a state-supported route, but one that they would pay to operate, we just need to make sure that, we have at least one route that's, I believe, over 700 miles. And so the current Crescent line, does that for us. So that's one interesting wrinkle. And then in terms of right-of-way, dedicated versus using existing trackage, we've already started those conversations with the Class 1 railroads. And I think one point of emphasis for this study is to really get those guys engaged as early as possible, figure out what the kind of envelope of possibilities are from the Class 1 railroads perspective. So we'll look at both using existing trackage as well as doing some potential dedicated right-of-way where space allows through downtown on the north side of the city.
Thank you. Move approval.
All right. A motion to approve by Dozier, a second by Councilmember Westmoreland. If you could please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you.
That takes us to Section J, Resolutions, 25R 3799. May we have a motion to bring forth the substitute? I believe the caption changes.
Make a motion. Well, I'll make a motion to bring forth the substitute. I have a second by Westmoreland. Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. The substitute is before you. 25R 3799, a resolution by Councilmember Byron D. Amos as substituted by Community Development and Human Services Committee, authorizing the City of Atlanta to donate a total amount not to exceed $500,000.00 to the Grove Park Foundation pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta's Charter to support neighborhood partnership organization capacity building services on behalf of the West Hallowell Foundation, authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into a donation agreement which shall detail the actions of the Grove Park Foundation to provide neighborhood partnership capacity building services, and to authorize the chief financial officer or his designee to make all payments from the accounts listed herein and for the purposes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, CDHS. I'm Tamil Harris, Project Manager for West Hollowell corridor, including Almond Park, Cary Park, and the Bowen redevelopment site. And I'm here on behalf of the resolution. We are requesting the donation amount to not exceed $500,000 on behalf of Grove Park as the fiscal agent for West Hollowell Foundation as a neighborhood partnership organization, which is in the location of the mayor's targeted neighborhood of the West Hollowell corridor.
Any questions, comments from colleagues? Got a motion to approve by Dozier. I'll second. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable on substitute.
Thank you.
That takes us to item number 28, 25R 3801, a resolution by Councilmember Jason Dozier authorizing the mayor or his designee on behalf of the City of Atlanta to designate the City of Atlanta as a bee-trap free zone and to support inner-city urban agriculture in all its programs, and authorizing the mayor on behalf of the City of Atlanta to enter into any required agreements for the participation and implementation of such designation and for other purposes.
Councilmember Dozier.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move the file.
Please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Councilmember Dozier to help with my EpiPen donation here.
That takes us to item number 29, 25R 3817, a resolution by council members Matt Westmoreland, Liliana Bakhtiari, Jason Dozier, and Jason Winston, authorizing a donation to the Atlanta Volunteers Lawyers Foundation pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta's Charter to continue support for AVLF's Access to Legal Counsel program that provides eviction defense services to eligible City of Atlanta residents, authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into any necessary agreements to effectuate the donation, to authorize the chief financial officer or his designee to make the donation authorized hereby from the account listed herein and for the purposes.
A motion to approve. Got a second by Dozier. If you can please open the vote. Yeah, Councilmember Westmoreland.
Was there a substitute for this, or am I confusing different pieces of legislation for the AVLF legislation?
Good afternoon, Amber A. Robinson, City of Atlanta Department of Law. There were substitutes that were sent forward for consideration this morning, though I did not receive any notice whether or not they had been approved.
Can you remind us what the nature of the revisions were?
Yes. So in the proposed substitute, it makes it clear that the payments would be spread out over F26 and FY27. Currently, that's not clear, and there was a 25 resolution which provided that the payments, donation payments, would be over 25 and 26. For some reason, the 25 payment did not go through before the end of FY25. So the substitute would make clear that that resolution was superseded, and the $600,000 donation would proceed over 26 and 27.
Okay, and the legislation right now just has it doing in fiscal year 26.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
That's right.
Then I will remake my motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Westmoreland, a second by Vice Chair Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open.
Thank you.
The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. That takes us to item number 30, 25R 3833, a resolution by Community Development Human Services Committee authorizing the City of Atlanta to donate an amount not to exceed $20,000.00 to Jackson Memorial Baptist Church and an amount not to exceed $5,000.00 to Mount Vernon Outreach Ministries pursuant to Section 6-306 of the City of Atlanta Charter, to authorize the Chief Financial Officer to make the donation payment from the account listed herein and for other purposes.
I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item is favorable. That takes us to Section K, papers held in committee. If there's no,
Yep, go ahead.
if there's no objection from the committee, maybe take items 35, 42, and 44 as a block.
Please proceed.
Item number 35, 250-1068, CDP 2432, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use element of the 2021 Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 1575 Rear, 1581, 1590, and 1593 Huber Street from the industrial land use designation to the very high density residential land use designation and for the purposes. Item number 42, 250-1265, CDP 2512, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use element of the 2021 Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 2945 Forest Park Road from the single-family residential land use designation to the industrial land use designation and for the purposes. Item number 44, 250-1267, CDP 2515, an ordinance by Community Development Human Services Committee to amend the land use element of the 2021 Atlanta Comprehensive Development Plan so as to redesignate property located at 1944 St. John's Circle from the single-family residential land use designation to the medium-density residential land use designation and for the purposes.
So one of those items, 42, there's actually going to make a motion to hold that one. So we need to pull that one out of the block.
Okay, it's already held.
Or keep it held, sorry.
Okay. So just item 35 and 44.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, just click. One moment. One moment. May you repeat the mover and the seconder, please? The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. Those two items are favorable. That takes us to item number 45, 250-1303, Z2545, an ordinance by council members Andrea L. Boone, Dustin Hillis, Marcy Collier Overstreet, and Matt Westmoreland to rezone from R4 to the MR3 for property located at 745 Bolton Road, parcel ID number listed, to modify the official zoning map and for the purposes. The motion would be to refer to ZRB.
Make a motion to refer to ZRB. Is there a second? Second. Second by Dozier. If you can please open the vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 4 yeas, 0 nays. This item has been referred to ZRB. And I believe that is our last held item since we took up all the communications.
Thank you. Any other parting words or comments? Seeing none,